Today is 16th of July, market trade inside day, Dow 20 point at 5539. Now this is not unexpected after a strong run up. Notice the increasing of daylight is actually prone to retracement. 1326 are well placed and diverging. This is an indication of strong trend. Let's take a look at the Nasdaq Composite Index as proxy for US market. Notice it's still consolidating with a couple of swing, and over the last 2 weeks or so, we see positive developments because the volume has begun to dry up. So right now we are looking for a catalyst to actually trigger a break above this intermediate resistance here of 26,788. Now there's concern about AI bubbles, but from the chart itself, it is still premature to conclude that. Let's turn attention to some of the stocks we'll be discussing. First, the financial. This is DBS. Very strong run up, and today trade a doji. Again, increasing daylight, likely to continue to pull back, and like to look for setup to go long. At this point in time, we do have a small deeper setup, 73.55. Now, obviously, with the increasing daylight, the upside move is actually limited without that pullback. OCBC. This stock managed to continue to make gain, closing at its high with a wide range bar. Look for pullback, look for new setups to go long. UOB, we have a retracement today. This is a small deeper setup. Bar high here is at 45.15. Now today's reversal bars are accompanied with high volume. We may see continued downward move. UOB Keihin. Now this stock attempt at this resistance, but was not able to continue with a follow through. It actually pulled back, and right now it's stuck here. Eventually, you'd like to look for a decisive break above the recent high here of 444. SGX. Now it is still starting consolidations. Over the last few sessions, we see pullback, but generally 13 SMA is actually flat. Again, we need to actually just wait it out and eventually look for a break above the recent high here of 24.72. SIA. Mentioned in the previous videos, volatility has increased, and this is probably in reactions to the rising tension in Middle East. But whatever the case may be, this is a big deeper setup. Dubai comeback high here, it's at 783. Notice that actually the 13 SMA is actually flattened. We'll prefer if it's rising, so it may well just trade sideways. Sets. Today managed to actually stage a breakout, but was not able to close well, trading a long-dated doji, slightly to actually pull back. Eventually look for a break above the high here of 467. Sheng Siong. Stock has been inching up, and after this breakout itself, you actually trade sideways. We like to look for the consolidations to complete and eventually take out this high here of 340. Now it will be good to actually check where the high volume. So you notice the high volume is actually at the closing price here of 333, and it's currently trading slightly below that. So we like to look for a decisive break and close above that level. IX Bio Pharma. This stocks continue to just consolidate sideways. Perhaps you got to give it some more time to eventually stage a breakout. So it's actually building a course for a subsequent move. Let's discuss stock. This is Justco. Stock managed to stage a reversal. So this is a double bottom. Notice the downswing here, volume dry up. This is significant development. Eventually break on the upside and follow through. Today we trade a reversal bar on slightly lower volume. Look for a decisive break above the high here of 715. Centurions, we have not discussed this stock for quite some time because it actually went down quite substantially. But even this morning itself is not exciting. Notice a series of overlapping bar. But over here we see a very strong inbound trend, and 2 days ago we do see this bullish gap, which is actually good. And today bear buy itself is actually accompanying low volume. This is healthy. Look for pullback, look for new setups to go long. Now obviously this is something we got to contend with, and it's important to actually check the high volume resistance, and this is in fact tested yesterday itself. So important to trade decisively above that level. Geo Energy, the stock has actually stayed a reversal, and right now pull back with a small deeper setup. Bar high is 57 cents. So again, just be mindful of this overhead resistance. First Resources, look for decisive break above this high here of 345. Today managed to actually break with a slight gain here of 346. Eventually look for a follow through. Bubitama, less preferred purely on the chart pattern basis. Again, this is a sideways move. 13 SMA, you notice generally flat. Look for decisive break above this high here of 182. Wilmer, this stock actually found some traction and raised up, testing this resistance. Again, we just have to look for a setup here, but for the conservative, if we want to wait for this high to be taken out and look for the first pullback, and this high here is 402. Let's take a look at some of the oil related stocks. This is Citron. Despite actually oil has actually moved up to about $84, we don't see much movement. They're stuck in the trend range. Alright, so they may well even break on the downside because this is quite a stubborn resistance. Samcoin Industry, still languishing. If you notice, actually continue to make new low, look for throwback, look for setup to short the stocks. We see some movement in oil tech, but it's not likely to change the trend. But you notice we again still actually close above the 26 SMA, but they have not crossed yet. So we like to observe to see whether potentially we have a reversal here. But we just have to actually observe. At this point in time, it's premature to trade the stocks. China Aviation Oil continue to weaken. But on several occasions we see the rejection of low, so you may well just throw back from here. We can look for a setup to short the stocks. Let's take a look at the tech stock. This is AEM. Today trade a reversal bout on higher volumes. By and large, actually the stocks has been actually performing very well. It's just that over here itself has been actually consolidating with very wild swing. Again, it is still too early to actually trade the stocks. There's no trend characteristic. Concerned that you may even break on the downside. So once you break on the downside, we can look for setup to short. PC Partner. Now this stock actually is quite volatile of late. Notice every upward move is we see very strong reactions. Now we do not know whether it's going to stage a reversal because this is very obvious resistance level to contend with. Perhaps we wait for this to be taken out and look for a setup then. Franken, hovering at the support levels. Again, trading below 1326 MA is not a good thing. If you break on the downside, we can look for opportunity to short. UMS, slightly stronger, but it is still consolidating, so we just have to just wait it out. So at this point in time, there's no opportunity to trade the tech stock here, with one exception, which is actually Infotech. It eventually released its guidance and it's generally positive, and it actually gap up yesterday, followed by pullback. If you look at today, pullback itself, the volume is actually lower, that's healthy. look for decisive break above the high here of 96 cents.